Hi, everyone. We have with us Sahraa, who is the filmmaker of the wonderful film that you just saw, HAVA MARYAM AYESHA. And Shweta, if you want to come up on stage and introduce Tania to everybody again.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Sarah. It's so lovely to see you. I'd like to welcome Sarah and Tania on stage for them to start the Q&As. So, Tania, please turn on your camera and your mic and hop on.
And as always, the format is the same. So if you have any questions for Sahraa about the film, please put it in the chat and we'll be taking note of that. And once Tania finishes the moderator Q&A, we will open the floor up to the audience and you can ask your questions. Thanks, everyone.
Wonderful. So thank you, Sahraa, for joining us at what seems to be, 3 a.m. there. So thank you for being here and taking this space and talking to us about your lovely film that I just found incredibly moving because it talks about a wealth of topics within a woman's world. And I wanted to start off with maybe a question that seems, obvious or perhaps it's assumed, but I wanted to ask you, what compels you about women's narratives, with your documentary work and especially in this your first feature film in fiction.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm so happy that I had this opportunity, and my film had this opportunity to be shown, to be screened at your film festival, and I hope you enjoyed it. I am a woman from Afghanistan, and when you hear about Afghanistan, or when you hear name of Afghanistan and woman of Afghanistan, in your mind will be open a lot of pictures, a lot of things about women, all those limitations, Taliban, and women's right and rights to education, the rights to working, and all of this. So I am from this country, and I myself and my generation and young women, we faced a lot of difficulties. It doesn't matter that we are come from town or we are come from village, but it always difficult when you are born in a patriarchal country with specific rules and regulations about women, about women and girls. I was twice immigrant. First, my parents, they immigrated from Afghanistan to Iran during Soviet war, and then and again at the age of 17, I immigrated to Slovakia, where I studied. But I always carry with myself this woman's world, like these difficulties and limitations that I had as a girl from Afghanistan. It doesn't matter that I was a refugee. I saw a lot of people, a lot of women in my country who were refugees and who faced a lot of difficulties because of wrong interpretation of Islam, because of traditional country and those things. So even during my study, when I made documentary films, short films, I always wanted to portray or to picture women and their stories, and especially women and their relationships with themselves, with society, and with the entire world. So during my study, it was woman and immigration, woman and womanhood, and woman and the freedom of choice and everything. And when I returned to Afghanistan, when I really see eyes by eyes everyday reality, and I had this opportunity to travel to remote areas, to remote villages, to far villages, and also to travel among cities, I just find one thing, that it doesn't matter like from which environment you are, from rural environment or urban environment. As far as you're from Afghanistan and you're a woman from Afghanistan, you face similar issues and similar challenges, but in difficult circumstances. So in different circumstances. So I think as a filmmaker, I'm not just filmmaker, as I'm not just a storyteller. I am also representative of my generation. To tell the stories of women, to tell it from different perspective, and to share it with not just with women inside Afghanistan, but also with women and people outside of Afghanistan. They should see a new stories of Afghan women, that okay, they are resilient, they are fighting, but still also okay, they are fighting about basic rights, but still they are facing with similar issue that can a woman face in Argentina, in USA, I don't know, in China or in Japan or in everywhere. So it is kind of my responsibility to tell stories of women of my homeland.
What a great answer. Thank you. I wanted to maybe bring us back to the film itself and talk about, perhaps take us through a journey of the production of this film. How did you come from an acting background, and then of course you're the first female director with a doctoral degree in cinema directing. So how did your journey into this film come about? How did the writing for the film, how did the film actually get produced?
When I came to Afghanistan in 2000, at the end of 2012, because I finished my study, and there was a big question in front of me, because I had a very comfortable life in Bratislava, Slovakia. It is I had a chance, opportunity to teach and to continue to make films and everything. And it was wonderful, beginning to I finished a study, and I could continue my career and everything, life in Europe. But I told myself, no, I'm not going to live in Europe. I will return to Afghanistan, because there are a lot of stories that they are waiting for me. I should tell. When I came to Afghanistan, I didn't immediately start to make my future film. It took me almost 5 years. I observed if, and I traveled a lot around Afghanistan. At that time, it was easier. 5 years ago, now it is Taliban some everywhere, and I traveled, and I myself, I have always question of freedom of your own body. It means that you decide when you become pregnant, you decide when you become a mother, you decide with whom you should live. And I believe in these things. I thought that all women in Afghanistan, they should have the same freedom, but unfortunately it is not that easy. Women of Afghanistan, they don't have this freedom, most of them. And the other thing, that with whomever I wanted to get married, the first thing was that, okay, if you get married, then you should become a mother. It was a value. Okay, of course, motherhood and being mother is a wonderful thing. It is a wonderful thing, but it should be choice of a woman to become a mother. It is not just because you got married, so you should automatically become a mother. So these issues were taboo in Afghanistan to talk about it. For example, abortion or getting divorce or asking about your basic rights to go to hospital, like in episode HAVA, everything was taboo. So I decided, okay, to bring 3 women from different social background, like HAVA, which is a very traditional woman, Maryam, which is like middle class woman, and also Aisha, it is a young generation. And each of them, like they faced the issue, like it is maybe differently, they face differently, but the issue is the same. It is a one issue. It is about child. It is about the difficulty. For having child is important, because she will survive as a woman, as an ordinary woman. Because when you are mother as an ordinary woman in Afghanistan, you will survive in your family, in your reputation. They respect you, they give you value, they even give you this right to take care of you because you are a mother. But for Maryam, it is about question of giving up being mother, or no, just decide to get to don't have that baby and to survive, like you survive from a bad marriage. And for Aisha, it is a kind of escape way, to escape from, for example, from that love that she had. It didn't work to go to another marriage, but to tell the lie. Abortion for her, it is a trick to get to another life. So this is the reality of this country, this current Afghanistan. And for that, I wanted these 3 stories. Also from the name, if you understand, Hava is the first woman according to our religion, also according Christians, Eve. Maryam is Jesus' mother. For us, in Islamic interpretation, Miriam, it has a kind of suffering, this motherhood or something. And Aisha is Muhammad, our prophet, wife, and she was tricky woman. Okay, so I use these things like this very tricky religion background just to tell the current issue. But it was difficult to shoot this film inside Afghanistan, because the environment is not necessary. It is not prepared for shooting this kind of movies, because they are taboo. We are talking about taboos, first of all. And a woman filmmaker is going to make film. And when I did this film 2 years ago, 2019, explosions were everywhere. Every second day we had explosions, and we had some shooting at the street. So, and people tell me, you are crazy, you should go, you should leave Afghanistan, and you are making film, an independent film. So, and I said, no, if I don't tell the stories of these stories, which is come from our reality and our society, then it doesn't have meaning that I become a filmmaker. So the production was difficult, but it was full of joy also, because I myself love difficulties, challenges, because it gives me motivation to fight, and it gives me energy to go on. So this film was a big experience for me also to show myself and my fellow filmmakers that, okay, we can make films inside Afghanistan. I talk a lot,
No, but I think that was an incredible journey to make this film and to do it in a time when there were explosions and of course all of these challenges. I commend you for the work that you did. I mean, this is an incredible narrative. I want to, just before I open it up to the questions, I wanted to address the ending, which I think is an incredible image to end the film with. And I wanted to maybe ask you what how did you design that last image? And what were you thinking putting these women in the same space together at the end of the film?
When I'm writing like a script or a story, this is I think, I don't know, I always first I always thinking about ending. This is always any kind of a story, or I don't know, short film or short script or future script I'm writing, are always ending, thinking about ending. For me, the point was that, as I told you, it doesn't matter from where you are come from poor family, from educated family, you are like an independent woman, as far as you are living under umbrella of patriarchal society, and under umbrella of society that they somehow they don't respect woman's decisions, women's rights. They push you to a lot of limitation, to a lot of like what they should say, a lot of like you should do that, you shouldn't do that, and you could do that, you couldn't, and you cannot, and those things. You are under this umbrella and you are under this sky of this kind of country you are living. Your like kind of you will find yourself in the same place, in the same box. So this box is for this film is a clinic. It is health clinic to get abortion or whatever. So it was like kind of, it is what kind it is maybe for some audience it is like open ending, but it is also somehow conclusion of three stories that they connected. This woman, they're so far from each other. They don't know each other. They're a stranger. At least they don't know each other in this place, but their destiny, their life, their fate, they're like under the same like roof. So it is also for a lot of women in Afghanistan. When it comes to particular issues, it doesn't matter you're rich or you're educated, you're philosopher or you're, I don't know, uneducated. This society, this patriarchal society, push you to the same like fate, to same situation when it becomes to you to decide about your own body, to decide about motherhood, to decide about divorce, to decide to talk loudly about what you think. For that, this ending was at the beginning with me, and I needed to get to that ending.
I think it was the right ending for a story like that. I love the silence. I love how these women just end in the same space and with their own worlds, right, in that same frame. And it was an incredible, very powerful ending. So it spoke to me as a filmmaker, for sure. I do want to open it up to questions in the chat. So I don't know if Ananya is going to lead us into that. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for that conversation, Tania and Sahraa. I think it's just so incredible what you've achieved with this film, and the way in which you told that story really kind of brought that message home. I'm going to open it up to the audience questions now. They've been putting their comments in the chat. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to look at that. So, first question comes from Meghna. And Meghna, if you can, turn your camera on and go ahead and ask Sahraa the question. Meghna, you are on mute.
Told you all I'm technologically challenged. First of all, congratulations, Sahraa. This was a lovely movie and it was a pleasure to watch it.
Thank you.
I know you mentioned about the ending, and we've actually had some comments on how this movie comes together in the end, with three unknown lives suddenly come and find themselves at the same place. I just was curious to know what was going on in your mind as you brought them together in that place. Was there a message you were trying to give to the audience from this last scene? It just was so unconnected that, and in the end, they all come together at the same clinic. I was just curious to know what was, your perspective on it.
As I told that, when you are those three stories, they came from reality. The inspiration is from reality of Afghanistan. And sometimes when I have a problem, I am educated and I am independent and everything. But sometimes when I have some problem, but I am in the same situation like ordinary woman who doesn't have all this access that I have, access to education and everything. It is come from this country and these rules and regulations of this country, Afghanistan, and also our very, very wrong interpretation of religion and everything. So those women, as I told, they are different. Their approach to the problem is different. For example, HAVA, she once saved the child. We don't know even the child is died or whatever, but she tries, even with very small like rights that she tries to solve. And Maryam also she tries to solve in her own way, and Ayesha also. The solution, but is going to one place. It is a clinic. It is where like the approaches is different, and their mind is different world, but they are sitting in the same place, like crossing each other. Their fate, the end that they should decide is the same. And it comes also from, I said, as a society, sometimes we are forced to decide about something that the conclusion or the place that we are going to decide is like can be very ordinary place that every single person they are going there. But sometimes we think because we are doctor or we are professor, we are I don't know, a filmmaker, we are different. But when we are coming from one country with a lot of these bad things against women, so your like kind of the situation that you are in is the same with every woman. So, for example, when I go to some clinic here as a film, because I observe a lot. For this film, I went to many clinics and sit there and just listen to women's stories that, okay, what they are telling. And then they didn't even know that I am like a filmmaker, but they talk to me like I am their neighbor and we have the same issue. So so it is from that experience that I had. Also from this from this point of view, that this country and all these anti-woman issues that we have here, they push us all women to sometimes to come to one place and decide like about our issues.
Thank you, Sahraa. Thanks, Meghna, for that question. We'll move on to our next question. It comes from Geetika. Kitika, if you can turn on your camera and ask your question.
Hi, Sarah. It was a brilliant film, very heartwarming but also heartbreaking. But kudos to you, bravo! It was a job very well done. I have a quick question for you.
Thank you.
So the U.S., whether it was good or bad, has been a part of the Afghan, politics and country for a while. And with the recent announcement that the U.S. is going to pull out this summer, what impact do you think it will have on women's and children's rights, if any, in Afghanistan? And if it does, then how can we help? And how can we continue to support women's rights and children's rights in Afghanistan?
Thank you for this question, because really we are facing these days a kind of fear, because few days ago just USA announced that okay, we are withdrawing our forces, and then we suddenly, okay, what will be with us, like women and children? Because the big issue Taliban has and always was women, because women of Afghanistan, especially young generation, they are not similar like 20 years ago. Because 20 years ago, our mothers, our sisters, they didn't have access to technology. They didn't have this right to travel. So they were most of them, they were housewife without access to information from the world. For that, they couldn't demonstrate, they couldn't fight. Okay, they fight, but in their own way. But new generation of women in Afghanistan, they're very well educated. They at least they know few languages of this world, so it means they communicate with this world, and they especially they know more themselves and about their rights and what they want. And sometimes for our country like Afghanistan or Middle East or for example Iran, India, I don't know those things, when a traditional society, they think that okay, the percentage of divorce is getting high, people they think okay, it is very wrong. But I think the percentage of divorce is getting high in Afghanistan, for example, past few years. It is because women, they know about themselves and what they want. Finally, they came to this stage, that to this point that okay, I don't want to live with this man, or I want to study, or I want to go ahead with my own life. So this is also something it was example. It means the women of Afghanistan, they started to be more knowledgeable, so and more independent, especially financially independent. So it is very big dangerous for patriarchal society, for traditional society, and for Taliban, because I think Taliban, they hate women. I don't know why, what is wrong with them. But they, even during that peace negotiations, they just they put as a small sentence in a big paragraph, okay, women's rights will be respected, but they don't they make any definition for women's right. Like USA is decide to leave, it is big fear for us, because I don't know if you follow Afghanistan news, that this past 3-4 months, they targeting journalists, women activists, they're killing. I myself, with fear, I always go to work, and because I don't know if some stupid guy who wants to go directly to the paradise will put explosion under my car or whatever. I think you who are living in USA, you should start to create dialogue, and to at least write even one sentence in social media, and to tag Afghanistan and Afghan women, to just to show your solidarity, because showing solidarity with women of Afghanistan, it gives us energy. It gives us like a motivation to fight. Okay, we don't want like USA forever, like to stay in Afghanistan. It doesn't work. It didn't work anywhere. But we don't want also USA gives this kind of feeling, or this kind of like message to Taliban. Okay, we are leaving, so you are it is your victory. Somehow they, for example, Taliban, they announced that it is our victory that USA is leaving, because we pushed them, because with these peace negotiations. And yesterday they launched a radio for like first Taliban radio, which has like, they use freedom of speech, which we fight for it like last 20 years, and then against us, to limit us. Like, they have their radio, and they have like their offices, they have their special madrasas, and so I think you just started, for example, to just talk about it on your Twitters, Facebook, social media, to make it like a small question, like, okay, what do you think, or people of USA, what do you think? We need USA to stay beside us, that because just a generation, we have now a strong generation, like they are about 20, 30, okay? They are now rebuilding this society. So USA shouldn't just leave us in the middle of all this achievement that we had, which easily can be, because our politics, they are so egoist. They don't think about me as a young woman who desire to make a film. They don't think about other young girl who desire to study. They're so egoist. They just want to be president. They just want to be MPs. They just want to be figure. You know, they don't desire about creating content for this country. They just want to be figure, you know. So it would be very, very great that you among yourself, among almost even a small group, started to talk it, and then at least every talk has its own meaning.
I think that's very important, and maybe just even writing to some politicians and saying, that please have something in place before US leaves. So thank you for your answer, and all the best to you.
Thanks, Geetika. Yes, and thank you so much for the answer, Sahraa. I think it gave us a lot to think about.
Thank you very much.
And we just need that perspective to understand what's happening. I'm going to ask Bill Kelsey to ask a question now. And let me see if I can invite you on the stage, Bill. I think you might be under your, I think you have been given speaker permission. So if you could just turn on your camera and your microphone and ask your question.
Hello, Sahraa. Oh, do I have to turn on my microphone?
We can hear you. We can
hear
you.
خب خوش سلامتی.
Hello.
Hi.
I know him.
I like the pigeons. Yeah, I love those pigeons, and you arranged them so well. And you obviously had somebody like me who took care of pigeons helping you with the movie. with the filming?
Did we lose Sahraa for just a second?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, she's frozen. Okay. Oh, we lost her.
I think we may have lost Sahraa for just a second. I'm just going to see if she can come back, but stay.
Maybe.
And in the meanwhile, maybe Tanya and Shweta Raka, if you could jump in and say a few words.
I also love the kind of the natural elements in the film. What particularly, if anybody else thought about, the pigeons or, the everyday kind of actions or the street sounds and the lack of music too. I mean, there's no score, just the use of silence. It was very beautifully crafted. So, I do agree. Like the deliberate placement of pigeons in there as transitions, as kind of like the everyday noise of the city, was just beautifully done.
I see Sahraa is here because she's writing.
Yeah.
She's writing, so I can definitely see her. But Tanya, you spoke about the pigeons. In India, pigeons are symbolizes peace. So when they actually, in a lot of films, they actually make the pigeons fly away, and it symbolizes that freedom or peace or that kind of feeling. So maybe that's what Sahraa was also trying to do, that there was some sort of peace towards the end.
Yeah. Well, and I think the opening sequence too, with the father-in-law being caging the birds and also taking care of the birds more lovingly than he does his own daughter-in-law, and there was a lot of conversation there happening on a subliminal level, and I absolutely love the role of the natural elements in there.
Absolutely.
As well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, the other aspect that I found very compelling was the narrative order of the film. I love that Sahraa was, talking about the names, the title of the film being kind of sequentially, in order. But it seemed to me like the narrative was backwards, actually, within a timeline of a woman's life, right? We start with the pregnancy and married life, and then we move into that middle life. Of married, independent life. And then we move to this teenage girl who's just about to get married and has, kind of a secret life. And I love the narrative order. So what did you think? Or maybe anybody else who thought about, the way the stories were arranged?
Absolutely. Please hop in. You just have to turn on your camera. Oh, there's Alka.
I think, Ananya, can we get access to people? How do we know who has a question here? And maybe everybody in the Q&A who's asked a question who hasn't already answered one, maybe we could just give them access and get them on. So then all of us can have a discussion.
Okay.
Or if somebody can raise their hand, there is a feature, right, of raising their hand.
Yes, I just want to give Sahraa a chance to come back because she is on chat. So if we can sort of head back to the lobby, we can all talk in sort of small,
that works too.
Small tables, and then I'll bring Sahraa back and we can continue the Q&A. Okay.
That sounds great. Yes, great idea.
Bye. A brief break. We are back. Sahraa, if you can turn your video on now, we can bring you back, and Tanya, you as well.
All right. Is she back? No?
I think so. I think, yes.
Oh, yay.
Great. Okay. We're just going to move down. I think you said hi to Bill, whom you knew, and if you do have any question remaining in that, do let me know. Whoever didn't finish off, please do let me know. And I am going to go next with, I believe Nidhi had a question, which was if you have been able to release this film in Afghanistan, and if so, how has it been received?
To list film, name of films in Afghanistan? What?
No,
I didn't get the question.
If HAVA Maryam Ayesha, you were able to show it in Afghanistan, and how received in Afghanistan?
Yes, because we had a premiere. We had a premiere of HAVA MARYAM AYESHA at Venice Film Festival in Italy, and then I had also in Mill Valley, California, and now here, and almost 32 film festivals. But I always wanted to show this film inside of Afghanistan. So quickly after premiering at Venice Film Festival, I had screenings, almost 20 days here. And the funniest things is that men were so angry watching this film. So they didn't like it so much, and they look at me after each screening, because in some screening I went and I attended, there was a Q&A, and they look at me and they say, "You are so anti-man." I said, "No, I'm not anti-man. I just like to talk about woman stories. I mean, about stories of my woman of Afghanistan, because I myself am woman, because it is not very easy to talk even inside the film, even in fiction film, about abortion, and about womanhood, motherhood, because it is a big value here. It is some of them, they told me, "Oh, you want, through your film, you want to show and you want to teach to young women that they shouldn't get married, or they should." I said, "No, it is not about that. It is about that whatever happened to you, you should find a solution for that. Maybe that solution is not the rightest solution and the correctest solution, but it is a solution, and it's still you end up with something. It is so people, men, some of them, they didn't like it so much. So this is our country, no?
I think, when you piss off the right people, it's probably a good thing.
Well, I was gonna just quickly chime in, because I thought you had an interesting balance of male characters. You had Rashad and Akbar, who actually show some kindness to the women around them, and I felt like it's the young generation of young males who are actually maybe having a change. And also the groom in Aisha's story is very in tune with her needs. I felt like there was absolutely.
Yes, I wanted to show that young generation is going to be changed, so it is some hope. So, but still, this is not film like black and white, okay, bad or good or something. It is a story of reality. Of course, we have a lot of men, really, they give a lot of hard time to women in Afghanistan, but also we have good men, also young generation, especially those are educated. Their approach to women is different. So at least it is not that bad.
I think we'll move from that to probably Shuja's question. I did want to ask, do you feel like you see that change coming in the next generation of men, kind of how you depicted? Is that something you hope for, or is that something that you have experienced and so you feel the hope?
I think we are hoping because society is not working just with just man or just woman. It is somehow cooperation to coexistence. It doesn't work well just for example, if you go outside, especially this past few years, at least this past year that this peace negotiation is going on, and women of women appearance in society, they are less. Girls, they don't go outside very much. When you see like just in coffee shops, restaurants, everywhere, when you see just man, it is so ugly, because women, they bring beauty, they bring color, they bring tenderness to the society with this with their existence. When you go to a street, if you see a woman, that the street becomes more beautiful. When you go to shop, when you see woman, it becomes more interesting. So woman, I just say it from like this perspective, but in the thinking way, in like other very serious issues, women should be part of the society. In the same time, men should be part of the society. This togetherness, this coexistence, this cooperation, this being together and working to build this country, it is very important, and it comes from this from family. It comes from the inside of the family, that men of the family, they should respect women, they should respect girls as a member of, as a very active and very useful member of the society. They should believe, and they should come to this belief that, okay, without women, this country will fail. At this country will be in war, because women, they are angels of building. They are angels of always woman, because woman can gives birth. So it is something that it means a lot. So we hope that men of Afghanistan, finally, they just come to this belief that, okay, without woman, without existence of woman among the society, it doesn't work. It doesn't work well. Okay, this work according them, but it doesn't work like normally.
Mhm.
The normal society is it is from everybody should be normal society. I think there was a question from Tripti, that are you working on any projects? Yes, I work.
What are you working on right now?
I just finished the final draft of my new film. You know that in the same time that I am like a filmmaker and I'm making film, I am also head of film, head of an office that is decide about the film industry in Afghanistan. And but I'm working in my new future film. The producer will be the same as I had in HAVA MARYAM AYESHA, and it calls Zarquna. Zarquna is a typical name for woman, and it is about because we are war country, and we are almost 42 years we are in war with everybody and even also with ourselves sometimes, and but we didn't picturize woman and woman stories during the war. We didn't picturize that how women during the war, how this war, how like kind of make an effect in our relationships. So my new film it is about somehow war, but you cannot see any war, you just see effect of war. And it is also about inner life of a woman and her fight with this about her desire. It will be also again a little taboo, because it is about how it calls in English, when woman has a sexual desire. How it calls?
Her, just I think that's what it is. Yeah, her sexuality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The woman in family, in her family, she has this she has this sexual desire, but the man, they don't care about it because so they think that in Afghanistan always men, they think they have all desires, but they don't think that woman also should has a desire any kind. Okay, so it is also, it will be, I think we are going to shoot this year or next year. It depends to the situation. And but I think it will open very big questions about, because nobody talk about desires of women in Afghanistan. They always talk about these outside issues and this all these cliches, but it doesn't matter. You are from Afghanistan, you are still woman, you are still this femininity you carry with yourself. Like every woman in this world, you have some wishes, you have some dreams, you have some desires. So it doesn't matter because you was born in patriarchal country, you should kill all your dreams. So it is also will open new questions and will open new dialogues, and will some people will hate me again. So but I'm sure that I will be happy to, in your next edition of your your festival, this film be screened also.
We would love that, and we are so looking forward to it. Sahraa, I know
Thank you
that
very
it is 4 a.m. in Afghanistan, and I don't want to take too much of your time. And you've woken up at just you woken up just to talk to us, and we really, really appreciate it. There are so many questions that other audience members have, and a lot of them are really good questions. I'm so sorry that we couldn't get through all of them in the time that we had today. But Sahraa, we might head back to the floor if you're available. Maybe we can all meet you on table number 1, and everybody who has a question, maybe you can just get 30 seconds with Sahraa. Otherwise, Sahraa, if you need to go, we completely understand. And, maybe you can get a couple more hours of rest.
I just wake up, okay?
Thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Thank you. Very inspiring.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for all your questions, and thank you all of people that they watch my film, and thank you for giving this opportunity to me to talk. And I just see that in the morning, like 4 p.m., the city is so beautiful because there is no voices. So I'm going to wake up every day at 4 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sahraa. See you back on the floor, everybody.
Okay.